All right, guys, thank you for joining us. It's Monday, April something, who even knows anymore. Today, we are talking about Spinosaurs. Oh, I forgot my sound cue. Hold on, let's do that again. It's very important. Today, we are talking about Spinosaurs. There it is, okay. But like every single day, we start with our Dino bingo. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Again, shouts to Grace for putting together our bingo every day. This is our Dinosaur 101 bingo for today. I've already said dank adaptation. So I think the top right corner, that one you can check off. Remember, as soon as you get 5 in any direction, diagonal, horizontal, vertical, send a message to, let's go with Grace today, because we're gonna have a lot of science talks with Christina today. Send a message to Grace if you get a bingo, and she will inform you what you have won the right to do. That is our bingo of the day. I'm also wearing my Institute for the Study of Mongolian Dinos t-shirt. So that is the centermost bingo square. Look at that. You're already halfway there. Or not quite half, whatever 25 divided by 2 is. Math is not my strong suit. Anyway, you guys were doing it. We're talking about Spinosaurus today. Raise one hand if you're excited. Raise 2 hands if you're excited. Awesome, cool. I need these both now to show you what our dino of the day is. Was it really anyone? Was anyone?
Can we put him down?
It's gonna be Spinosaurus, obviously. Obviously.
All
right, here it is, you guys. This is our dino of the day. This is Spinosaurus. This is one depiction of Spinosaurus, and we're going to get into the myriad different depictions of Spinosaurus, because much like many dinos that we don't have a lot of material from, we're putting together scant bits of evidence to try to piece together what an animal that hasn't been around for 100, 150 million years not only look like, but move like, where it lived, what it hunted. We're going to get into all that today. This is one depiction of Spinosaurus. I like that you can see the head detail as well. So today we are talking all about Spinosaurus. But before we can do that, we obviously have to play the game that we play every day to get this ball rolling. Christina, we did not talk specifically about this. So I'm gonna throw the ball to you. Who do you think today, because we don't have a special guest. I guess I'm the special guest expert. Who do you think we should choose from our Zoom room to play Dino or Not a Dino?
Oh boy, we have quite a few regular kiddos who
if you've already played, I think we should pick someone who hasn't played yet.
Okay, so if you've already played, your hand down.
Looking around.
Okay, so let's see. Daniel was our last winner, who has suggested someone who is raising their hand, Dino Wes.
Dino West. Where's Dino West? Let's see. Is Dino West here?
And I see all of you getting excited with your hands up and in the chat. Your day will come. Today.
Why can I not find Dino West?
Is Dino West's day.
Okay, so today is Dino West. I see, here's the deal. I want to unmute. Hey, Miles and Sam, my nephews, you guys, we're going to play Dino or Not a Dino with Dino West today. And the next time you are here, next time you're in this room, you're going to tag team. And we're going to play Dino or Not a Dino. Thank you guys for being here. I love my nephews. Shout out to them. All right, Dino West. You are now unmuted, sir. I'm going to go over the rules of the game for everyone. First of all, I love your neon shirt. Very safe in traffic. Okay, here are the rules for Dino or Not a Dino. Wes, is your name just Wes?
Wes or Wesley?
Wes, would you like to go by Dino Wes or just Wes?
Dino West.
Dino West, that is correct. You're in a Dino 101 Zoom room. Of course we're going with Dino West. All right, here's the deal. I'm going to read you the name of 10 different animals, some of which are actual real dinosaurs, and some of which I have totally made up. And it is simply your job to say if it is a dino or not a dino. You are more than welcome to ask for a spelling. If you want me to spell the word, that might help. Also, feel free to look around the Zoom room. I know we have a lot of smart, intrepid dino scientists who are probably going to give you help with thumbs up or thumbs down. Christina, you don't know any of these today. Usually Christina helps out with these. Today, maybe Christina, you can actually help Dino West.
Yeah, I'll help you out, Wes.
All right, Dino West, are you ready to play Dino or Not a Dino?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's dig in. Animal number 1, Timonodon. 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 Timonodon.
That just doesn't sound that doesn't sound like a dino. So no, I'm going with not a dino.
Dino West is going not a dino. You are correct. You are 1 for 1. Timonodon is not a dino. I should also mention there is a theme for the not dinos as well as a theme for the dinos. So if anyone wants to try to figure that out as we go, that's a special side challenge. Number 2, Massospondylus. Massospondylus. Ooh, quick thumbs up from Christina.
I'm going with yes because everyone is just giving thumbs up.
Okay, you're polling the audience, and the audience in this case is correct. Massospondylus is a dino. That is, you're now 2 for 2. Wow. Moving on. Number 3, Nalanicus. Nalanicus.
Oh
It's
my gosh.
a tough one. Nalanicus.
No.
A lot of thumbs down. No, you're correct again. 3 for 3. Nalanicus is not a dinosaur. All right, next. Egyptosaurus or Egyptosaurus. Egyptosaurus.
Egyptosaurus?
Yeah. Egyptosaurus, my friend.
I'm going to
High drama.
yeah, I think that's it. I'm going with yes, it is a dino.
You're going with yes? Hey, Max. Oh, that's Max, and he's a bingo square. Just saying. All right, you're going yes?
Yes.
Dino West is going yes. Dino West, you're now 4 for 4. See, I think you understand that science is a collaborative project and process, and you should always consult with other scientists as you're doing. 4 for 4, off to a great start. Number 5, Zazu.
What?
Zazu. Z-A-Z-U.
No, that's not a dino.
No, there are some very short name dinos that start with Z. Zazu, you're going no?
Yeah.
I love the confidence Wes is bringing today. 5 for 5 from Wes thus far. Dino Wes crushing the game. 5 for 5. Christina or Grace, I'm curious to know, just with a thumbs up or thumbs down, have you figured out the theme?
Yes.
They both have. Dino West.
I totally got the theme. Love the
In
theme.
the chat.
Okay. All right, Dino West. Next, Nigersaurus. Niger Saurus. Nigersaurus.
Lots of thumbs up, so yes.
Lots of thumbs up, so yes. I really need to make these harder, or maybe pick people that aren't as smart as Wes. Wes, you're crushing it. 6 for 6. Moving on to number 7, Scarvinator. Scarvinator.
No.
No? He's going no. Wow. All right. Fine. Wes is now 7 for 7. Afrovenator.
I'm getting lots of thumbs up, so yeah.
You're getting a lot of thumbs up? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your final answer for Afrovenator?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is a no.
Wes, you are now 8 for 8. I love this right now. We got 2 more. I'm sorry. Yeah, just 2 more. Dicraeosaurus. Would you like me to spell that, Wes? Will that be helpful?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will spell Dicraeosaurus. Dicraeosaurus. Dicraeosaurus.
Yeah, I think that's a dino.
I think that's a dino, and I think I need to make these harder. That is 9 for 9. Before I give you the last one to go for a perfect 10 for 10, have you figured out the theme for the not dinos?
No.
Megan, I think Megan figured it out maybe immediately. Megan, you want to let us know what the theme for the not dinos is before the last one?
It might be the Lion King.
It may be the Lion King because we have Timonodon, we have Nalanicus, we have Zazu, which technically because
is
it's
a
a
dino.
bird in the movie, I realize now actually is a dinosaur. But
Yeah, shout out to everyone in the Zoom room who immediately messaged me and said, I think that's a dino. But for this game, Wes was correct.
Way to keep me honest. I was doing these this morning, blew right past it. Scarvinator's obviously also not a dinosaur. The last one that you have to figure out, Wes, to go for perfect 10 for 10, 100%, Proto-Pumbaalong.
What?
Protopoombalong.
No, that is
No,
not.
you don't need a
dino.
spelling. You're just no. All
Yes,
right.
no.
Protopoombalong. I mean, do we look around? Do we have any thumbs? Anyone think no? Jada seems to have a very emphatic no. You are right. Protopoombalong is not a dino. Dino Wes, you just went 10 for 10. You've peaked as a human now. I don't know where you can go from here. This is a huge crowning achievement. I think Grace is going to make a certificate and mail it out to you later.
Done. It's happening. You
Can
and
I give
Natty,
you an air
10 for
high five?
10. Awesome.
Air high five for Dino Wes. Thanks, Wes. All right, you crushed that game. That was very fun. So the theme for the not dinos was Lion King. But the theme for the actual dinos were African dinos. So Massospondylus, Egyptosaurus, Nigerosaurus, Afrovenator, and Dicraeosaurus, all dinosaurs that we have found in Africa, all of which were different types of sauropods other than Afrovenator, which is a theropod. And I wanted to bring that up specifically because today, as you guys know, we're talking all about Spinosaurs. And there's a number of Spinosaurs in the group Spinosauridae. And we have found these primarily in Africa. We found them also in parts of Europe, as well as even in Brazil. And so first I want to show you the 4 Spinosaurs we are going to talk about today. Well, this is 5. You can ignore the yellow guy. But these are the 4 that we're going to talk about today. Spinosaurus, Suchomimus, Baryonyx, and Irritator. And we're going to talk about them in order from, well, smallest to biggest, and actually kind of in order relatively from the oldest to the youngest. So this is what they look like, standing with what looks like Stalin, or like it's got, and I like the long overcoat he's working on there. And this is what they look like fleshed out. These are our 4 Spinosaurs of the day. From this image, you may notice that really only one, maybe a little bit on Suchomimus, but only Spinosaur has like a very obvious spine. But other than that, you guys are very similarly shaped. They have similar dank adaptations, which we will get to in a second. They all, by the way, lived in the late Jurassic into the late Cretaceous. So about 150 to about 85 million years ago. All of them had conical, and some of them had serrated teeth. So when I say conical teeth, if you think of like a cone, it's more shaped like a cone, where it's almost symmetrical and pointy, rather than, let me stop this screen share for a second, rather than our T-Rex tooth here, which is not conical, it's like curved, whereas the Spinosaur teeth are much more straight, shaped like a cone, hence the name conical. So Spinosaurs, that's one diagnostic feature, a feature we notice in them that allows us to be like, oh, this is probably a member of the Spinosaur family. So back to our screen share here. This is the Spinosaurs we're going to talk about today in, well, actually the opposite order if you see them here. And why are we going to talk about them? Well, first of all, amazing, crazy looking, sweet, dank adaptation having dinosaurs. But also I personally have just happened to see them a lot during my, my adventures, my time, mostly in New York. I don't know if anyone knows this, but this is Suchomimus I saw one day in a construction site in Long Island City, right across the river from, you see the Empire State Building.
Is that why Amazon didn't end up building there?
Yeah, they tried. They were like, we put together this whole plan to get rid of the dinos there, and it would have been too expensive. So yeah, that's the primary reason Amazon did not move to Long Island City in New York.
Thanks, Dinos.
Yeah, that's great, Christina. Thank you for mentioning that. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
But it's not just Long Island City. We see them under some bridges. This is a pretty famous bridge. You may recognize it. Here's a couple Spinosaurs. They probably took the East River Ferry. That's a joke. They definitely did not. So here are them at the East River, as well as I found one other. I believe this is also Suchomimus that I ran into at this Salton Sea way out in California. It was an interesting day. It was hunting and almost hunted me. So yeah, Spinosaurs, they're all over the place. So let's get into this. Our first Spinosaur of the day, this is Baryonyx. Now remember, when we show these in these paleo art depictions, especially for this group, right? We've talked a lot about evidence for feathers, even evidence for colors in certain dinosaurs. When it comes to Spinosaurs, we don't really know much, if anything, at this point about their color or if they had feathers. So colors and any feathers, speculative at this point. And so as we go through these, you're going to see a lot of different colors and a lot of different postures. We'll get back to that in a little bit. So here's Baryonyx, the smallest of the 4 we're going to talk about today. Its name means heavy claw. Also, Bitey Berry is a nickname I have heard. This guy, oh, I'm sorry, Baryonyx. Yeah, sorry. That's right. And the cool thing about Baryonyx is Baryonyx was the first dinosaur that we had definitive evidence of being a pescivore, which means eating fish. So we found Baryonyx specimens with fish scales in its stomach, as well as some bones from a young juvenile iguanodon. So we know Baryonyx was eating some stuff from land, some stuff from the sea. We've even found pterosaur fossils that have Baryonyx teeth that have been broken off and embedded in the bone. So we know Baryonyx was eating a whole bunch of different stuff, land, air, sky, like talk about surf and turf. This guy was doing well. So speaking of different color variations, I like this one. I don't know, I just like those colors. I like the gradation, the blues and the orange and the yellow. That one's pretty cool. You probably have already noticed those front arms. We've talked a lot about how theropods and Spinosaurs are theropods, three-toed, primarily carnivorous dinosaurs. We talked a lot about how their hands were actually clappers, not slappers, right? And we can actually see those pronated or turned in. In fact, we don't believe they'd even be able to turn their wrists all the way facing down. So their hands were like this. So again, when you do your T-Rex or your Baryonyx impersonation, hands in, not like this. Clappers, not snappers. Another speculative image I found with respect to Baryonyx is this one. We know there are certain animals alive today, certain species of crocodile or alligator, as well as a lot of megafauna on like the plains in Africa that allow small animals to essentially groom them, picking away bits of dirt or insects. And so here's a speculative drawing of Baryonyx with, I guess there's a couple different small pterosaurs and some birds up in its teeth, maybe cleaning out its teeth. That's a really cool idea. But again, we don't know. And we also don't know if it had these like feathers or this like these little filaments on them. Not sure, but that's half the fun of paleontology. We speculate, make our best educated guesses. So that is Baryonyx. The next Spinosaur of the day, the Irritator, which is such a cool name. In fact, its full name is Irritator challengeri, like challenge, and that entire name. And I should mention, when I say Irritator challengeri, even when I say Tyrannosaurus rex or Velociraptor mongolensis, that first word is the genus, the overall group of which many very closely related dinosaurs or animals are in. So when you see that first one, there may be multiple species of Irritator. And the one you're looking at here is Irritator challengeri, named simply because it was incredibly hard to extract from the rock, and it was a real irritating challenge for the paleontologists in Brazil. This is one of the few Brazilian dinosaurs, and so they named it after how hard it was to get out of the rock. And that's all I'm going to show you about Irritator because there's not so much information and not a lot of pictures of them online. These guys are about 25 feet long, and this, I think, is a good time to take a quick pause. Quick sidebar, I don't know if anyone except for myself and Christina's mom and Christina know this, but I believe tomorrow, Christina, I know you can't be here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but tomorrow, Tuesday, what's the date tomorrow?
April 28th.
April 28th is a very special day because it is your birthday. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
So tomorrow is Christina's birthday. Unfortunately, she cannot be here, but this means you get to celebrate a day early with us. So we played Die for Love a couple times, and we're changing that up a little bit because it's Christina's birthday, and she's one of my favorite science positive people ever. So I'm excited to hear you nerd out about something you love. So friends, in our very first Dino 101 poll, I'm putting it up now. I need you to vote. Christina, in a moment, is going to have 30 seconds to go on a rant about one of the following things that she loves. But we need to hear from you what you want to hear from her. Launching poll now. Put in your votes. What does Christina love? What do you want to hear her talk about? She loves a lot of different stuff. Oh, we got some votes for Ultimate Frisbee, improv comedy, paleoclimatology, roller coaster point of view videos. Oh, wow. I didn't think we get so many science nerds that want to hear about paleoclimatology.
Oh, no way. This place is full of science nerds that want to hear about science.
Well, I imagine that maybe they wanted to flip the script, change gears a little bit.
Christina, I think you also need to convince people why Ultimate Frisbee is cool. I mean,
I definitely.
Not enough love for that.
Okay, last votes are coming. And you guys, if you've not voted, I'm going to give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Results are in. Ladies and gentlemen, with the least amount of votes, Ultimate Frisbee.
We're used to it.
Sorry. With the second least amount of votes is improv comedy.
Also used to that.
Coming in second place, silver, not so bad. Roller coaster point of view videos.
Wow.
With 19 out of 64 votes, but with 28 out of 64 votes, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the poll results now. Paleoclimatology. You are
Awesome.
such a nerd, and I am here for it. Christina, give us 30 seconds on why you adore paleoclimatology.
I love paleoclimatology because there are so many ways to understand what Earth's climate used to be like and how to use them to figure out what Earth's climate could be like in the future, which I don't need to spend all of my 30 seconds on telling you why that's important. Paleoclimatology tells us about what Earth's climate used to be like, and it's a study of also how we can tell. We use proxies, which are basically things we have in the present that tell us about the past. So we can use things like fossils of animals to tell us what the climate used to be like in the past. We can use fossils of plants to tell us what the climate used to be like in the past. For example, I used to live in the Pacific Northwest, which is cold and gray all year long, but there were fossils of ferns that would have, and palms that would have lived in a tropical environment. So we could reconstruct an entire environment based on those fossils and reconstruct also where the continents must have been at that point in time. It's incredible. How much time do I have left?
You are over time, but I could listen to you nerd out about this forever.
Gosh, I thought we were on a time constraint here.
It's your pre-birthday. There are no rules.
You go, yeah.
We got dendrochronology, climate reconstructions based on tree rings. We got cryo. We can reconstruct it based on gas found in ice cores. So like we love to say in geology, the present is the key to the past. And with paleoclimatology, it's also the key to the future.
Amazing. Christina, I have a question. So when you were a little girl, did you know that you wanted to study climatology or paleoclimatology, or what got you hooked on that you wanted to go and do this, for your degree?
Oh, ask Mama Kim. She's here in the chat somewhere. Oh. I was the biggest dino nerd as a kid, so it just makes my heart smile every day I see you in here. Oh my gosh, and I see Yasmin has a waffle.
Let's do it. Kim, we've unmuted you. Is this true?
It is true. She used to have like a little suitcase full of little plastic dinosaurs. She would take them into the bathtub and have them lined up around the edge of the bathtub and tell me the names of all of them. And I still have a box of them.
Yeah!
Mama!
Somewhere, I still have a suitcase of little plastic dinosaurs somewhere.
Oh,
that is great.
Yeah. So it's something, it might even be on our bingo board that I know we talk about a lot. Like dinos are this gateway to science. And that was definitely it for me. I wanted to know everything about their behavior, but I think what segued me into geology and all the subsets of that, including paleoclimate, was what was their world like? What was their environment like? Like what we talked about when we were doing universe building. What the heck was it like on Earth for these crazy creatures to exist?
Christina, maybe we should do a whole day on that. Well, there's no time right now. So first of all, happy day before your birthday, Christina. I could listen to you nerd out about that stuff forever. I didn't know you were such a dino stan as a kid. I'm happy to help you continue that love now. A reminder, you brought up bingo. You're right. Dinosaurs as a gateway is one of the bingo board cards. If you get a bingo, shout that out to Grace. She'll tell you what you have won for the day. Also, any and all questions, shoot them. We're going to Christina today. Shoot your science questions to Christina. I guess non-science related ones can go to Grace today, but it's your pre-birthday, so we'll let you nerd out hard about science. All right, should we get back into our Spinosaurs?
After I shout out my mom. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Kim. Yay. Wait, where are you, by the way, Kim? Where are you calling from? Zooming from? Kim, where are you zooming from? Yeah.
I'm in LA. I'm at home today.
Okay, cool. LA, we got all sides of the country represented. All right, here we go. Moving on, we got two more Spinosaurs. The next, we already talked about Irritator, our friend Suchomimus. I like Suchomimus a lot. It looks like it should be pronounced Suchomimus. Hold on, let me make sure I'm sharing this. There we go.
That's such a mimus.
Such a mimus. Oh, Christina, since you chimed in, do you know what that translates to? What does Suchomimus mean?
Oh, it is like Sucho, but not.
A suchomimic. Sucho, that the initial prefix that means alligator or crocodile. Mimus is mimic. So this is like alligator or crocodile mimic. And that speaks to the shape of its jaws, which we'll get back to in a second. This thing was lived 115 million years ago, about 35 feet long. So a pretty big dino. 122 conical teeth. Count them, 122 sharp, pointy, conical teeth. And that is relatively impressive, I think. Here's another depiction of Suchomimus. You can see some of those teeth there. You see those facing inward articulated hands. This is another iteration of it on the beach. You can kind of start to see the sail, like almost like a mini sail or almost like a hump there, more so than a sail. I love the pterosaurs we see in the back. Suchomimus, pretty cool. Some pretty dank adaptations. Pretty dope dino, but it is not the one, the only Spinosaurus. So we've made it all the way to Spinosaurus. So here are the facts. Here's the facts, the background facts you need before we really get into the controversy and why this thing is so amazing. 100 million years ago, about 16,000 pounds. So for some size comparison, 16,000 pounds is about how much if you took like 100 full-grown adults and put them on a scale. So 100 human adults weigh about as much as a full-grown Spinosaurus. Even cooler than that though, they were about, if not a little bit more than 50 feet long. So at 50 feet long and 8 tons, Spinosaurus, depending on who you speak to, is arguably the largest carnivorous dinosaur to have ever walked the earth. Possibly slightly bigger than Carcharodontosaurus, slightly bigger than Giganotosaurus, even slightly bigger than T-Rex. So arguably the largest carnivore to ever walk the face of the earth. And when I say large, I mean large. This is a model of its skull. Its skull is 6 feet long, right? So its skull is slightly taller than I am. So not only does it have a large skull, which we'll come back to in a second, it's known, I really sized that poorly, but oh well. It is known for those crazy spines on the back. So those spines are extensions of the vertebrae. And in the largest specimens, those spines are almost 5 feet long. So 5 feet coming up off the top of the spine. We'll get to what we think we use those for in a second. But the thing that is most intriguing, at least to me, about Spinosaurs, other than all of that, is the different like shapes that we see it depicted as. So like even in this Spinosaur image right here, you can see how the sail isn't like this perfect rounded arch. It's kind of goes up and then comes back down, then bumps back up again. Versus if we look at older depictions of Spinosaur, not only is it like kind of one almost like Dimetrodon-like smooth rounded sail, but also if you look at the posture here, it looks relatively like a T-Rex, like many bipedal, walking on 2 legs theropods, right? Walking around on 2 legs, using those front arms maybe to manipulate or help catch prey. But and here's another one similar to that, still kind of tiny armed, big legged. But as time has gone on and as we have found more and more Spinosaurs and more material from Spinosaurs, we're starting to recognize that those articulations or that depiction is probably not perfectly accurate. And you guys probably remember original depictions if you've seen like movies or pictures of T-Rex from 50 years ago. It's dragging its tail behind us. It's kind of like waddling around like a slow reptile. First of all, we know that's not the case anymore. And we're still learning more and more all the time about how exactly these things looked, what their shape was, how they moved, what environment they lived in, what they ate. And that all being said, as time has gone on, we've gone from depictions that are much more like this to depictions that are a little bit more like this. And so not only, again, are the colors speculative, but now we see a much more accurate spine where it almost has 2 humps. It's almost like a Bactrian camel. But I want you guys to look at like the length of the legs, the length of the arms, and where you think the center of gravity might be. Right? And what I mean by that is like, if you have too much weight on one side of the body, like this thing it's not going to stand up straight. It would just kind of tip over. And so if you think about a depiction like this, I would put the center of gravity a little bit, maybe stomach back towards near the back leg. Whereas in these newer depictions, we're realizing that center of gravity is farther forward, somewhere between those front and those back legs, which means it would make no sense for it to be standing upright like that, kind of like this, because it would just topple over on the front. So now more modern, what we think is more accurate depictions have the center of gravity move forward. And even now there's a lot of debate about whether this thing was a habitual, which means it always walks on 2 legs, habitual biped, or it could have walked on 4 and maybe switched it up. So for instance, this is one of my favorite newer depictions of Spinosaur. Much bigger head, much longer front arms. The center of gravity has moved forward. So now this thing is walking with its back much more horizontal, a lot less like this. And because of this, and because of other finds other specimens and other fossils that we found, you guys know this probably. This I love. It's speculated, and it's distinct possibility that these guys actually spent a lot of time in water. So here's a skeletal depiction of what a Spinosaur might look like swimming around the water. Here's kind of a more fleshed out version of that with a person for scale. I think the two sizes here, I think the smaller one is the upper limit for what we think are female Spinosaurs versus the larger shadowy one, a male. We've talked a lot about sexual dimorphism. Di means more than one, morph is shape. So males and females show different shapes. Humans even show a slight amount of sexual dimorphism. Most fully grown adult males are in the 5'9"-ish range, whereas most females are around 5'4"-ish, average across the world. So humans have sexual dimorphism, Spinosaurs do. Here's a depiction of them swimming. Here's a better depiction of them swimming with the webbed feet. Can you guys see those webbed feet? Love that. This could be an animal that was spending a lot of time in water. Maybe not fully terrestrial, maybe not fully aquatic, but definitely exploiting both environments. Now, again, we're not sure specifically for Spinosaurus, but we know at least for Baryonyx that it was eating things that lived in water, eating things that lived on land, eating things that spent a lot of time in the sky. So there's a distinct possibility for Spinosaurus as well. Here's another depiction of them. We should stop for a second here to talk about the sail, right? We've talked about the different reasons for weird features on dinosaurs, right? We often will come back to, do you guys remember the two things I say? They both start with an F. Grace, do you remember? I'm quizzing the non-scientist. So a weird feature on a dinosaur
I
that we're
remember.
not, what?
I remember.
Okay, so the weird feature on a dinosaur, if there's a weird feature on a dinosaur, we're not exactly sure what it was made for. It's probably for
Fighting or flirting.
Fighting or flirting, or the third.
Fleeing, fossilizing, fertilization,
You just
fraternization.
So fighting, flirting, or the third F, fanning. Thermoregulation, right. So those are all hypotheses for these spines. They could have been used to help woo mate, maybe had different colors. We also think that they could have been used for thermoregulation, either to cool off. If you turn that spine towards the sun, the skin that covers those vertebral like extensions, covered with skin, crisscrossed with channels of blood vessels. You turn that towards the sun, and you can warm up pretty easily. Also, other people think the exact opposite. When you're a large animal, you need more surface area to dissipate body heat, and that's a hard thing to do for large dinosaurs or large animals in general. There's actually something called Haldane's principle. It speaks to as an animal gets bigger, it's harder for it to get rid of excess body heat. So some people postulate or hypothesize that the spines are actually used to dissipate extra heat. Those things aren't directly in the sun. You can imagine a cool breeze hitting those, cooling them off. That's also a possibility. But the thing that I am most excited to talk about before we get to our Spinosaur questions, which will happen in a second, is this. So this is a Spinosaur skull. And in addition to them just being incredibly bonkers and very cool looking, Spinosaur skulls had something where I wrote down the term. I keep forgetting what it is called. Where's the term? See, even the best dinosaur scientists forget the name of what is the term? Rostral? It's a rostral. Anyway, you guys see towards the end of its skull here, it's almost got, can you see my pointer? Yeah, you can see my cursor.
Yeah, we can see it.
In this spot right here. I forget, it's like a rostral opening, I forget what it's called. But instead of this line coming straight through to the end like most skulls, it kind of has this divot that goes up, and then the bottom part of the skull, the end of the rostrum. Rostrum refers to the end of like a beak or a skull if it's like a knobby protuberance. So it's got this kind of dent there. And so that coupled with the conical teeth, let me see if I can actually play this. Let me see if this will work for you guys. I like this image or this video because you can see 360 around this skull. If this will play, slowly loading. Ba-ba-ba-da, there we go. Maybe. So as we zoom out here, it's going to turn. You can see how long and skinny that skull is. It's not nearly as wide as, like, for instance, a T-Rex skull. I'm going to try to pause it right in the middle. Boom. Yeah, you can see how long and skinny that thing is. And because of that, because of the shape of the teeth, because of the shape of its body, many people have compared it to modern, I gotta, hold on, get rid of that, modern gharials. There we go. This is a gharial. So this is a gharial, which is a relative of a crocodile. It's a type of crocodile, lives in different parts around the world. And they have this very long, skinny snout with these pointy teeth. One way, by the way, you can tell alligators from crocodiles, other than the shape of the skull. But if you're looking at it from the side or the outside, if the teeth come out from both sides and kind of crisscross, and you can see in the gharial, there's a front one there. You can see the front one coming up. If it's crisscrossing outside the mouth, it's a crocodile. If you only see the top teeth coming down outside of the mouth, alligator. So because gharials have a very similar shape snout, and because of the rest of the features on Spinosaurus, people thought for a while these guys were piscivores. They were dining or eating at least sometime fish. And another, and probably my favorite piece of evidence for that, is this. So if you guys look at both of these skulls, we got a Spinosaurus on the left, we got a crocodile on the right. Obviously a very similar shape. We have that same kind of rostral, subrostral opening or dent or divot, where instead of the skull being straight, it kind of goes up. The teeth crisscross and they come out. But even more cool, I think, I'm going to zoom in. You guys see all these little perforations or almost divots or holes along the edge of the snout, right where the skull meets the teeth? You can see them over here on the crocodile too. So in modern crocodiles, those divots are actually helpful as water pressure sensors. So right, if you put your skull underwater and you just sit there and you don't move, you sit perfectly still, you wait for some sort of prey animal, let's say a fish, to swim by, that fish is going to push the water as it's moving. Those little dots are going to, those are again the pressure receptors. They're going to help you recognize that the water is being pushed by something, and you would be able to know where prey items are even before you see them. And it's a great aid in allowing them to hunt, especially in like murky water, or simply just to hunt more efficiently, because you don't have to move around to find your food. You sit still, you let it come to you, you detect it, chomp. And because of that, that's another piece of evidence that gives us, that makes many paleontologists believe not only were these guys spending a lot of time in water, but they were eating almost exclusively fish. I love this last depiction. These are all different. I love this A because look at the colors on that Spinosaur. Bonkers, I love it. But these are depictions of all different types of animals that were in Spinosaur environments that it may have been preying upon. All these different types of fish, as well as some sharks and some rays, and hopefully not that scuba diver. I think that's just in there for scale. So all of those things make Spinosaur, at least in my mind, one of the coolest, one of the most amazing, possibly the largest carnivore ever. I could nerd out about these guys. I mean, look, can we just zoom in on this? Like, look at that skull. It's like you designed a creature for a dinosaur like sci-fi movie, but it's an actual real thing that existed on our planet. And another reason why I love science, because like you can't make up this stuff. Like nonfiction to me is even more amazing. The process by which nature has built things will always be infinitely more interesting and amazing to me than when someone just draws it themselves. I could nerd out about this all day, but I'm sure you could too. And I'm sure you guys have lots of dope adaptation questions. Let's go to Grace first. Grace, do we have any bingos, by the way?
No bingos yet, but guys, keep working. So I've got a question from Natty who wants to know, how did the Spinosauruses defend themselves?
That's a good question. So we still, there's a lot of speculation as to how they actually use those. Let me see if I have a picture that shows the good forearms. Let's use the Suchomimus one. There's a lot of speculation and debate still about how they use these front arms, whether they were to actually catch prey or help subdue prey or maybe rip prey apart before eating it. There's a lot of theories about them swallowing prey whole or big chunks whole, much like alligators and crocodiles do today. So we're not really sure. It's a really good question. We're not really sure at this point, but they are tremendous adaptations and really strong, powerful arms that they may, again, based on depictions like this, zoom out, there we go, like this, and like this, they may have actually walked on those arms too, which is just bonkers to think about. Great question.
We've also got a question. I'm sorry, this came at the very beginning and I forget who asked it, but they wanted to know, is there any evidence of them having feathers?
No, At this point, there's no evidence of feathers in Therizinosaurs. There is evidence of feathers in Therizinosaurs, not in Spinosaurs. Those are the two craziest looking groups of dinosaurs. If you're asking me, Therizinosaurs and Spinosaurs, that is a fight / mashup I want to see.
Great. Christina, what do you have?
I have a lot of questions. I'm digging through right now because I have to tell you, every time you said dank, at least one person sent me in all caps, dank.
Oh wait, one just came in while you're looking. So Gandhi wants to know what evidence supports that Spinosaurus spent a lot of time underwater. Is there anything supporting that they could hold their breath for a long time?
What was the first part? Can you read the first part again?
What evidence supports that Spinosaurus spent a lot of time underwater? Is there anything supporting that they could hold their breath for a long time?
Cool. We've no idea about the holding the breath. I mean, they weren't mammals, so it's not like they were under and then coming up for breath. So I assume even if they were swimming around, they probably couldn't hold it for too long, but we have no idea as far as how long. But the evidence for them living in water is we have found their fossils in what we call fluvial environments, which is basically like near water, near floodplains, near coastal areas. So we know they were near where there's a lot of water, and based on the shape of not only the claws, but mostly based on the shape and the size of the skulls, they look so much like alligators and crocodiles today. And we know how they eat. We know how those adaptations have evolved to make them really successful in those environments. We make the same assumptions about a dinosaur that has very similar adaptations. Much like Christina said earlier about paleoclimatology, we use evidence from the past to inform the future, and we look at things that are happening today to help us learn more about the past, all with the hope of painting as accurate of a picture of life on Earth as possible. So we're not really sure, but that is the evidence. And that's, again, why I love dinos. We use scant evidence to make educated guesses about things we haven't seen for 100 million years. Well, that no one has seen, unless you were around 100 million years ago. Christina, what's next?
I had a couple people ask a similar question.
Okay.
Did this group of dinos hunt in packs? And I had somebody ask, did it evolve from T-Rex? Also, somebody had, did it hunt the T-Rex?
So no and no on the T-Rex answer. So Spinosaurs, again, they lived about 150 to about 85 million years ago. So we're predating T-Rex. T-Rex is at the end of the Cretaceous in the 70 to 66 million year old range. So these guys are before T-Rex. It's not like they're also not the same lineage of theropods. So it's not like they evolved into T-Rex. And the second thing was, did they hunt in packs? One of the coolest theories, again, speculative, and I don't think there's too much evidence. There's a little bit to support this. Going back to this image here, some people have speculated they actually may have hunted in groups in water. And the evidence they use for this is incredibly flexible tails, incredibly flexible heads. And we think that because of the length of their body and because of that flexibility, they may have kind of swam in circles to make almost like a bait ball. Certain marine species do this now. They kind of hoard all the fish into what we call a bait ball, which is a big group of the fish in one small spot, and then be able to use those mouths to chomp down on them. So they could potentially have swam around in circles together as a group, forcing all those fish together, making a bait ball, and then having a giant aquatic buffet, which, again, who knows, but it's a really cool idea to think about these guys swimming and hunting that way.
Is there any evidence that they migrated?
No. I don't even know if we have footprint or fossil impression footprints, trackways from them. But at this point, no. It's really hard to know about migration because even when you have fossilized footprints and trackways, you know, they're not more than like 50 feet. So you can't really call 50 feet a migration. So it's hard to know.
In this day and age.
Right? Yeah, right now. That is a huge migration for all of us right now. It's fair.
How do you think, this is from Martin.
Yeah.
How do you think interactions between Spinosaurus and Charodontosaurus went down in the Chem beds?
So just because tomorrow's your birthday, I'd like to hear you pronounce both of those again, because that was fun for me to hear.
Martin knows more things than I do. I'll try it again. Okay. How do you think interaction between Spinosaurus and Charodontosaurus went down in the Chem beds?
That was beautiful. Beautiful.
It's going down in the Chem beds.
Going down in the Chem beds.
The so Charodontosaurus, which basically means like shark tooth,
Why would you say the second H the same as the first syllable?
Listen, language is mutable and the rules are always changing, and we make them up as we go.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
That's right. So what do I think what would happen if they interacted? I don't know. I mean, we've seen video of contemporary megafauna like apex predators that get into the same area and fight over territory. If those two fought, I would actually, like, in a match, who would win? I would go Carcharodontosaurus. Well, actually, no, let me step back. Depends on who's home and away, right? If we're on like a beachfront or in water, Spinosaur maybe, but if we're solely on land, you got to give it to the home team. Both giant theropods. I don't know. And I think you'd need like 5 or so fights, best out of 5. That's a great question. I don't know. We did a fighting dinosaurs day. We should do a speculative fighting dinosaurs day, just to have matchups for the craziest dinos we can think of. Let's do one more question. We're running out of time.
What is a chem bed?
I actually am not sure what a chem bed is. I assume that is referring to a very specific place where a bunch of fossils have been laid down and found together in a place name that is somewhat like chem. Martin, what is a chem bed?
KEM. It's where they were found. Martin knows things.
Cool. They had a GPS locator pin. Let's do one more.
All right. Rob really wants me to share this idea.
Okay.
A co-host war day where all co-hosts says a theme. Dustin polls everybody, and then we'll vote for a winner to do for a different day. So for future topics.
Okay, I see.
More of a share than a question.
More of a share than a question. Let's do one last question. As we were doing this last question, you guys, put those final touches on your Spinosaur drawings. I'm excited to see this Paleo art gallery.
From Gandhi, the black heron uses its wings to create an umbra over the water to lure fish into the shade. I've heard a study suggesting the Spinosaurus may have used its sail in a similar fashion. Have you heard anything similar or further on this study?
I have not heard that, but it makes sense, right? And it goes with the idea of them hunting with those pressure sensors, right? If you pick one spot, don't move, you're shading that area of the water, maybe fish come over again and you're just waiting to chomp those teeth out. That's a really cool theory. I hadn't thought about that. I love that you guys are thinking about different ways they could use these dank adaptations to survive. So we're about to go into our drawings. Quick reminder, if you want to support this thing that we do literally every single day, you can hit us up on Venmo. I'm simply Dustin-Growick. All your donations are always greatly appreciated. Christina, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for our Spinosaur Paleo art gallery?
Always at least a 10 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10.
Announcement, we have a bingo.
We have a bingo. Okay, so 2 things. We have a bingo. Is my mom here also? Yes.
Yes.
So, okay, Grace, what does the bingo winner want to do?
So, Lillian, congratulations on your bingo. You can do one of 2 things. You can either ask the one and only Sharon, Dustin's mom, something about Dustin, embarrassing or otherwise, or you can name a hall, an animal, a dinosaur at the American Museum of Natural History, and Dustin will tell you a fun fact, anecdote, story about that, a thing. So Lillian, what would you like to do?
Oh my goodness. Hello. Howdy. Okay, so can I get Sharon to talk about like a whole experience, maybe? Like a mixture of the
So you want to hear about Sharon, like a time when Dustin took Sharon to the museum?
For a chance. Maybe she's got some like inner knowledge from an experience.
Oh,
I think that's a great idea.
That's a tough question. Mom, we're putting you on the spot. Can you share anything you remember about me and or the American Museum of Natural History in New York?
Oh, absolutely. My best night at the museum, it was Halloween, maybe 5, 7, 8 years ago.
Okay.
And you got us in, the museum was closed, and there was a very small party going on in your section, and you got us into the museum, and I was able to go through the dinosaur hall completely on my own. Well, I had a friend of yours helped me a little bit, guided me, but I was in there for like a half an hour on Halloween with nobody else there. And it was just like, I was 8 years old again, and it was just a really big thrill. Plus, I left a little note for Neil deGrasse Tyson. He never responded, but I told him I was your mom and that I loved him dearly. But it was a great night.
Awesome.
I thought that was gonna be tough, but you just crushed that. Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was a special time.
That was great. Thank you.
Lillian, thank you so much. Lillian, awesome question. Thank you.
That's a great question. Being alone in the empty fossil halls is incredible. Everything, I should mention, everything actually does come to life at night. It's true, but not in the way you think. It's a building in New York City. There are lots of rats and mice. That's what I mean by coming to life at night. All right, we only have 4 minutes. Let's go through this Paleo art gallery. Hold up those amazing drawings we're gonna go through. Grace and Christina, I'm excited to hear your comments. I know you're both art history majors on the side, at least one of you actually. So here we go. Let's look at some great Spinosaurus. We'll start with Catherine, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Oh, look how cute. I like that guy.
So cute.
Looks like I'm running away, or someone's running away. I like that. Jada. Okay, Jada has a little bit of an old school depiction, smaller arms, longer legs. Sinbad the Spinosaurus.
Dino West and Natty down there hanging out, the all-time 10 for 10 champions of Dino Not a Dino.
Right?
Awesome.
10 for 10. I forgot about that. Crushing it. Oh, wow. In the water. I like this, Margot. You put it in the water. Good, good, good. All right. Agus is adding to his amazing Paleo art gallery on the post-it note wall behind him. That's a great. I like the red on the front there, the big arms, big claws. I like that. Provinoraptor, coming correct per usual. Ooh, the colors. Ooh. Ooh, Christina, I want to hear your thoughts as a science communicator and teacher about Eric's here. Look at this.
Sailor.
Sailor, get it? Get it?
Oh, I do get it.
Yep.
It highlights its very important feature of the sail. Those theropod feet are ready for some bipedalism.
Yep. Great attention to detail with the 3 toes on the theropod. I like that.
Oh yeah.
All right. A whole gallery here. I love the different. I like the rainbow one down the bottom. These are beautiful. You guys really went. You went to town. Speaking of, so this is colored. How do you feel about this black and white one? Grace, what do you think about our Spinosaur here named Stefan?
Okay, Inez always kills it. I think she has incredible details for these patterns she puts on them. I mean, they're just fantastic. I love these so much.
This is straight up Paleo art, much like a past guest who is here, Jimmy Cantanzaro. Oh, look at this. We got a Spinosaur and I'm not sure, a Tenontosaurus in the front. What's in the front there, Jimmy?
Today. Oh, that's the drawing from yesterday. I just did it on the same page.
Oh, okay, cool. Who are you holding?
This is my daughter.
Hi, daughter. If you guys don't know Jimmy, Jimmy is an amazing Paleo artist. You can follow him, Jimmy with an I. So it's art_of_JIMI. Follow him. His stuff is incredible. We're going to Bryn now. Bryn, ooh, Spencer the Spinosaur. I love the long.
Hi, daughter. That looks like my friend Spencer. You did a great job.
Real good, real good. We got a couple more here. Oh, wow. Look at Judas.
Oh, we got an inside and an outside.
Wait, did you just like rip this out of a textbook?
So great.
So good, so good. Amy, let's look at Amy's here. Spinosaurus. Christina, can you remind everyone where to post these so that we can all see them later?
Yeah, send these to @ofthedailyDino on Instagram, all one word, @ofthedailyDino. Martin named his dino after me. Thank you, Martin.
I love how jacked those arms are. Look how strong.
Yeah.
Let's look at Patrick's here. Ooh, I like. There's something about that eyeball that just it looks like an eel almost. The face looks like an eel. I love that. All right. We have a note from Christina's mom we'd like to highlight. That is.
Oh, happy birthday. That's beautiful.
Cute.
Christina's birthday is tomorrow, but she cannot make it, so we'll make fun of her all day tomorrow. Yay. Nice. Dinosaurus Rex. Well done. We got a couple more. Wow, we went long today. Tony crushing it. So many great drawings. Let's look at our last couple. Yasmin. Ooh, Sid the Spinosaur.
Sid.
M. Thank you for joining
us.
That is beautiful as well. We got one from Natty here. Working on it. Nice. All right. You guys, our time for today is just about up. These are amazing Paleo Art Galleries. Grace, Christina, any final parting Spinosaur words?
Those were amazing. I didn't know what a Spinosaur was until today, so that was great. I learned a lot. And happy birthday, Christina.
Thanks, Grace.
Yeah.
Christina, any final words before we say bye to you until Wednesday?
Thanks, everybody. My heart is smiling. Thank you, Mama Kim. Yes.
Yes. Yay. Cool. And so like I mentioned at the top, tomorrow is a very special day, but we need all of your help for it. So tomorrow I'm going to be joined by the one, the only, who's actually in the Zoom. I'm not going to call him out again right now. If you can find him, you can. His name is Marcos Staffney. Marcos is the executive director of the Montshire Museum of Science, a really cool hands-on science center museum in Vermont. And we're going to talk all about his favorite dinosaur toys. Not just his favorite, well, dinosaur toys are his favorite. We're going to talk about your favorite dinosaur toys as well as as well as the history of dino toys. So tomorrow, I need you guys to come to the Zoom with your dino toys. We're going to try to identify the species, maybe figure out what they're made out of, as well as talk again about the history and the evolution of what dinosaur toy depictions were. So tomorrow, Marcus, but for now, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Here's what you need to do. I need you to go to the 99-cent store and reach deep down in the bin to find the coolest gift to get for Christina, because you should never stop digging, especially when it's related to Christina's birthday. Happy birthday week to Christina Gustovich. I love you guys. Peace out. Never stop loving dinosaurs. Marco Staffney, Dino Toys tomorrow for Tuesday. Let's go.